in my life to come before you in this live stream and share from the Word of God. So, in the previous days, we were meditating from the book of Numbers and we have covered till the 20th chapter of the book of Numbers. Until now, we have seen the wilderness journey of Israelites. And the wilderness journey of the Israelites are coming to its last phase. We saw the Israelites moving from the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and from Kadesh they asked the Edomite kings for to allow them to cross through the territory of Edom, but those kings came with their army and they restricted the Israelites from entering into their territory. And we see they go northwards towards the mountain of Mountain Hor. And in the Mountain Hor, we have seen in the previous chapters the brother of Moses, Aaron, the chief high priest, he dies in the wilderness of Hor. So this is how the wilderness journey of the Israelites are. And from Mount Ho, then they come back near the Gulf of Aqaba. So I can show you from some pictures how the wilderness journey of Israelites looked like. So let's go to some pictures and let me show you some of the details of the wilderness journey of Israelites so that you might understand how they traveled from Egypt to the promised land, which is today's Jerusalem. So somehow this is the way. This is Egypt, from where they started their journey. They went to the deserts of Paran and they roamed around before they reached the promised land. So altogether in this journey of Israelites, now they have come to the border of the land wilderness of uh, the wilderness of Moab. So from Moab they are going to they are planning to enter into the land. So what all things happened in this wilderness journey? That is what we are going to read today. When the Canaanite, the king of Arad, who lived in Negev, heard that Israel was coming by the way of Atharim, he fought against Israel and took some of them captive. And Israel vowed a vow to the Lord and said, if you will indeed give this people into my hand, then I will devour their cities to destruction. And the Lord heeded the voice of Israel and gave over the Canaanites, and they devoted them and their cities to destruction. So the name of the place was called Hormah. So this is the place called Hormah, and the Canaanite king called Arad, who lived in Negev, they came to fight against Israel. Israel is in the wilderness journey. They are trying to get inside the land. The Edomite kings never allowed the Israelites to get into the land. Hello everyone. This is a Bible study where we read from Genesis to Revelation, and I am someone who is explaining these portions. We are continuously reading these portions, and I am explaining from these portions the history of Bible and the history of Israel, the land of the country of Israel, how they traveled from Egypt in 3000 years BC, when they traveled from Egypt, and how they reached the land of Canaan. That is the story going on. From and These Canaanite king came to fight against Israel, and Israel took a vow to the Lord that if they win this battle, they'll destroy the cities of the Canaanite king Negev. So the whole of the land of Palestine was called Canaan in the earlier times. And in the land of Canaan, there were seven major nations: Amorites, Perizzites, and today's Palestinians. These people were today's Palestinians, and their older ones, they were living in the land. There were seven major nations living in the land of Canaan, and they were dispersed nations, and the Israelites were allowed to come into this land, and they waged war with these Canaanites, and they took over the territory. So in the olden times, no portion of the earth was given to someone. The group of people who were more powerful, they took over the land and they established themselves in the land of Canaan. So this area was not much populated. There were cities, there were people groups living in different parts of Canaan, today's Palestinian area. And the Israelites, after 400 years of slavery in Egypt, because their fathers, the fathers of Israelites, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, these people who lived 3,000 years ago, they lived in the land of Israel. And when there was a great famine in the land of Canaan, which is today's Palestinian area, the Central Asian region, these people fled to Egypt. And Egypt, there were cultivations, there were pharaohs living there, and the Israelites were considered as the people of the king. And after that, when they came out, they journeyed through the Sinai Peninsula, or we can see the Sinai Peninsula uh, through more than 40 years. And after that, they are now entering into the land. From Mount Ho, they set out the way to the Red Sea, go around the land of Edom, and the people became impatient on the way. And the people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us up out of the Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and no water, and we loathe this worthless food. Then the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, so that many of the people of Israel died. And the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. So Moses prayed for the people, and the Lord said to Moses, take a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, bronze serpent, and set it on the pole. Everyone who is bitten, when he sees it, shall live. So Moses made a bronze serpent, set it on a pole, and if a serpent bit anyone, he would look at the bronze serpent and live. So, what happens in the wilderness journey? Again, the people of Israel are rebelling against Moses, telling him that we do not have water to drink or food to eat. We are eating this manna for long years, and we are tired of this wilderness journey. And you are bringing us to no country, because these people were promised that they will be entering into the land of Canaan, and time has gone by. They are not able to enter into the land, and that's why these people are rebelling against Moses. And whenever these people of Israel rebelled against Moses, God sent a pestilence, a plague among them. So now there are fiery serpents. You might have seen in videos or in YouTube, you can watch how the serpents of deserts are. These are serpents which are very poisonous, and they came out of the sand, and they started biting these lights, and these lights started dying because these poisonous snakes started biting his lights, and these lights cried unto the Lord. And God commanded Moses to make a serpent and set it on a pole as a bronze serpent. And Moses made a bronze serpent and set it on a pole, so that whoever watches this bronze serpent, if that person is bitten by the snake, the wilderness snake, the fiery wilderness serpent, then that person has to look on the bronze serpent which Moses has made. And if that person looks at the bronze serpent, he will be delivered. So, this is what we see in the wilderness, that Moses, when the people were dying, Moses created a serpent out of bronze, and he made it stand on a pole. And the people who were dying because of the biting, because it was stricken by the fiery serpent in the wilderness, they looked unto that bronze serpent, and since they looked unto that bronze serpent, they could live. And later we see the Israelites took this bronze serpent. So God told the Israelites that you should never make any image or anything that is on the earth or on heaven. You should not make the image of anything that is on the earth or below the earth. So, but while these people were stricken by the fiery serpents, God Himself told Moses to make an image so that they might look unto it. Even in the New Testament, when Jesus speaks about himself in the Gospel of John, Jesus says, as Moses lifted the bronze serpent in the wilderness, so the Son of Man also will be lifted. Let me read from the New Testament. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted, that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. Jesus compared himself to that bronze serpent whom Moses raised in the wilderness. Moses set it on a pole in the wilderness so that anybody who is looking unto that bronze serpent may not die, he shall live. Even the modern day medical science have considered it simple as two serpents in a pole. So the primary reference to this image that we can see in the history is it's from the Israelites. For the first time, when a serpent bit the people as an anti-venom to the poison that came to the body of these lights, God raised another serpent as an anti-venom. We know that when a poison enters a person, an anti-venom is introduced into the body of the patient who is poisoned, so that this anti-venom develops antibody against the poison that is taken into the body of that person. So God was the first person to introduce anti-venom. When a serpent bite the people, struck the people, God raised another serpent to cancel the poison and cancel the death that was caused through that serpent. See, it is an open representation of the current state of humanity, that all the people on this earth is bitten by the serpent, poisoned by the serpent, which is the devil, and that poison that has entered into the life of humanity is sin. Sin is the poison that has entered into the humanity, and the serpent is the devil. But Jesus became an anti venom. He took all the curse of humanity upon him, and he was crucified on the pole. As that serpent was lifted on the pole, Jesus himself again compares this representation of the bronze serpent to what he has done in his life. So let's go to John chapter 12, where Jesus says, "If I be lifted up, I will draw many to myself. And when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself." So Jesus here is telling, as in the olden times, that Moses lifted the bronze serpent, and anybody who is bitten by the fiery serpent, anybody who is poisoned by the serpent, should look unto that bronze serpent and should deliver and will receive healing, and who is dying, he will be alive if he looks unto the bronze serpent. So thousands of Israelites are dying, and Moses is raising this bronze serpent on a pole, and the person who is bitten by the fiery serpent, if he looks unto that bronze serpent, he shall live. This is what Jesus has done in the cross of Calvary. Anybody who is stricken by disease, who is stricken by demonic entities, anybody who is stricken by diseases, the main disease that is on the humanity is sin. Anybody is stricken by the poison of sin by the devil, if he looks unto the cross of Calvary, where the Son of Man is lifted up, he shall be delivered. So the serpent, the bronze serpent in the wilderness, was a shadow of Jesus Christ, who is becoming a curse. In Galatians chapter 3, verse 13, it says, anybody who is hanged on a cross, hanged on a pole, he is cursed. So Jesus became our curse. Anything that is raised on a pole, hanged on a pole, is a representation of curse, is a representation of sin, is a representation of God's judgment. So the bronze serpent was representing, because the people of Israel have sinned, they are beaten by the serpent. But that the sin of the people has been taken on that bronze serpent, and if they look unto it, they shall be saved. So Jesus is it is the same with Jesus. Jesus, when the people of the world, when humanity was stricken by this great poison called sin, God kept his son on the cross as a curse, as a judgment for the sins of humanity. And whoever looks unto the Son of Man on the cross, whoever believes in the sacrificial death of Jesus, whoever receives Whoever wants to receive salvation from the cross, he can be saved. He will not die of the poison of sin. He shall live forever. He can be free from the bondage of sin. That is what the bronze serpent in wilderness represent. So let's go forward. And the people of Israel. And another thing about the bronze serpent which Moses made, is the Israelites kept it for long, and we see it was called Nehustan. And in Second Kings chapter 18, verse 4, it is said that Israelites later worshipped, when they went into idol worship, they worshipped this bronze serpent. And later, during the time of King Hezekiah of Judah, that Nehustan was destroyed. So, this is the detail that we get about Nehustan and the bronze serpent that was raised in the wilderness. And the people of Israel set out and encamped in Oboth. And they set out from Oboth and camped in Ai Abarim, in the wilderness that is opposite Moab. In the wilderness that is opposite Moab towards the sunrise. From there they set out and camped in the valley of Zereh. From there they set out and camped on the other side of Arnon, which is the wilderness that extends from the border of Amorites, from the Arnon in the border of Moab, between Moab and Amorites. Therefore, it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, Wahab is Suphah and the valley of Arnon. The slopes of the valley extends to the seat of Air and learns to the border of Moab, and from there they continued to Beer. And that is the well of which the Lord said to Moses, gather the people together so that I may give them water. Then Israel sang this song, spring up, O well, sing to it. And the well that the princes dug, and the nobles of the people delved in the scepter with their staffs. So here the people of Israel are again roaming around in the wilderness, and there are many locations mentioned here. All through all these locations, Israelites roamed around in the wilderness of Moab. And when they came near a well, there is a book called the Book of the Wars of the Lord. So there are ancient books that are referred in the Bible, but we do not have any reference to these books in nowadays in Jewish history. So it is believed that these are the historical books that were there in the olden times, but there is a reference of those books in the Bible, but we do not find any such literal entities. Even in Jewish history, we do not have them now. So in that book, there is an explanation of the wars of the Lord. Maybe it's about the wars of Israelites, but it is not available now. But we see that the people of Israel came to this location and they worshipped God. And from the wilderness, they set out to Matana, and from Matna to Nehelil, and from Nehelil to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley lying in the region of Moab by the top of Pisgah that looks down on the desert. So they are coming now to the valley of Pisgah, which is near to the border of the country of Moab. The, then Israel sent messengers to Sihon, the king of Amorites, saying, let me pass through your land. We will not turn aside into field or vineyard. We will not drink the waters of a well. We will go by the king's highway until we have passed through your territory. But Sihon would not allow Israel to pass through his territory. He gathered all his people together and went out against Israel to the wilderness, and came out to Jahaz and fought against Israel. And Israel defeated him with the edge of the sword and took possession of his land from the Arnon to Jabbok, as far as to the Amorites, for the border of the Amorites was strong. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel settled in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon and in all its villages. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, taken all his land out of his hand, as far as Arnon. Therefore the ballad singers say, come to Heshbon, let it be built, let the city of Sihon be established. For the fire comes out from Heshbon, flame from the city of Sihon. It devoured Ar of Moab, and swallowed the heights of Arnon. Woe to you, O Moab! You are undone, O people of Chemosh. He has made his sons fugitives and his daughters captives to the Amorite king Sihon. So we overthrew them. Heshbon as far as Dibon perished, and we laid waste as far as Nophah. Fire spread as far as Mediba. Thus, Israel lived in the land of the Amorites. So, what is happening here? Here we see the people of Israel going to the Amorite king Sihon for a war. And the Amorite king Sihon came out from his territory to wage war against the Israelites. And God gave victory for the people of Israel who against the Amorite king Sihon. Sihon was a king who also defeated the Moabites and took over his territory. And the Israelites were moving into those territory, and these kings came in war against Israel. And amazingly, God has trained soldiers from Israel, and they fought against the King Sihon of Amorite and killed them. So the nation of Amorites was always in war against the Israelites. We see them warring against Israel in the starting part of their journey. Again, they came to war, but God established Israel against the King Sihon of Amorite and gave them victory. Thus, Israel lived in the land of Amorite, and Moses sent to spy out Jazir. They captured its villages and disposed the Amorites who were there. Then they turned and went up by the way to Bashan. Og, the king of Bashan, came out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. But the Lord said to Moses, do not fear him, for I have given him unto your hand, and all his people and his land. And you shall do to him as you did to Sihon the king of Amorites, who lived at Heshbon. So they defeated him and his sons and all his people until he had no survivor left, and they possessed his land. So now Israel started defeating the kings of Canaan. First, they defeated the king Sihon of Amorites. Then they went in and defeated other kings of Bashan. He was also the Og, the king of Bashan. So these territories also Israelites took. Israel took over two nation communities from the land of Canaan. One is Amorites. They took over the land of Amorites and the king Sihon. And another, the king of Bashan, who is Og, is they came to battle against Israel, and God commanded Moses, yes, you go and battle with these countries and take over the land. So now Israel is taking over the outer portions before they are entering into the Canaanite territory. These were the people who were living in the land of Canaan. God was judging these people for their bad behavior and for the idol worship they did, the human sacrifices they did. So God was also working out His judgment through the people of Israel in the land of Canaan. Then the people of Israel set out and camped in the plains of Moab, beyond Jordan at Jericho. And Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel has done to Amorites. And Moab was in great dread of the people, because they were many. Moab was overcome with fear of the people of Israel. And Moab said to the elders of Midian, this horde will now lick up all that is around us, as the ox licks up the grass of the field. So Balak the son of Zippor, who was the king of Moab at the time, sent messengers to Balaam the son of Beor at Pethor, which is near the river in the land of the people of Ammon, to call him, saying, behold, a people has come out of Egypt. They cover the face of the earth, and they are dwelling opposite me. Come now, curse this people for me, since they are too mighty for me. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them from the land. For I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you curse is cursed. So now, these people of Israel has defeated the king of Amorites, Sihon, king of Bashan, Og, and they are entering into the land of Moab, the Moabite territory. And the Moabite territory is broader And this king of Moab, whose name is Balak, he now came to know that the people of Israel has come. So all the nations of Canaan are now in a dreadful condition. They are in fear of the people of Israel because the God was with the people of Israel, and the nations started fearing that this great nation of people would come and kill us and take over our land, our vineyards, our houses, and they will possess this land. So Israel became a threat to the nations who were living in the land of Canaan. And this king and all the people of his land, all the country are now afraid because they are in a threat of Israelites. Because Israelites are coming in camps, they are settled, they are well trained, and they are taking over the land because their God is with them, and they are defeating the countries in with those countries to which they are coming in contact. So now, this Balak, who was a very crooked man, he sent for a prophet. There was a prophet at that time whose name was Balaam. He was the son of Beor of Pethor. And it is said that he lived by the river, land of the river of Ammon. So maybe he is living by the river Euphrates, and he sent for this Balak from northern part of the Canaan, and to the northern part he sent for this man because Balak has heard of this person called Balaam. He is a prophet, he is a kind of prophet. Maybe he might have been the prophet of God, but he is a person with a prophetic utterance in his mouth, and if he commands blessing, blessings would come, and if he commands curse, curse would come. So Balak sent messengers to the prophet Balaam, seer Balaam, and asked to come and curse these people because Balak, the king of Moab, understood the people of Israel is a great threat to him. Because the people of Israel have defeated, as I've told earlier, two nations. They defeated Amorites and the king Sihon, and they also killed Og, the king of Bashan, and they have taken over the land. Now they have become a great threat to Moabite king Balak. So he is sending for the prophet Balaam, who is a seer and who is with a spiritual authority to curse them. Because no witchcraft and no sorcery is working against Israel, and no warfare is working against Israel. Israel is defeating them because God is with them, the tabernacle of God is with them, and there is victory everywhere these lights go, and Moses is leading them. So the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the feast for divination in their hand. And they came to Balaam and gave him Balak's message. And he said to them, lodge here tonight. So he is not a prophet. See, there's a slight difference between prophecy and divination. Divination is using a human spirit or using demonic spirits to know the future of a person. Even when God says prophecy, it is from God, it's from the Spirit of God, and it is spoken by God. But when people want to know their future, if they are making the prophets to prophesy for them and they are putting pressure on the prophet may not be moving under the Spirit of God, he can be under the spirit of divination. So the spirit of divination even works even in the church. The prophets who are not from God, the prophecy that is man-made or reading the mind, it's a part of divination. Divination is so wide, it is very hard to separate and understand between the true prophecy and divination. If you are continuously seeking for a person and every day you want to hear prophecy, you are under the spirit of divination because that's not prophetic from God. And when God wants to speak to you, He will clearly speak to you. And the people who are continuously seeking after prophets and prophetic word, there is a spirit of divination inside them. That's why they are seeking. And there is a spirit of divination inside those people who continuously do unwanted prophecies because the spirit of divination can also give prophetic words and they can be true. So these people went with the fee for divination. And he said to them, lodge here tonight, and I'll bring back word to you as the Lord speaks to me. So the prince of Moab stayed with Balaam. So Balak is speaking from God. He is a prophet of God. He is a person who can hear and see things by the grace of God, but still that grace can be polluted. So the prince of Moab stayed with Balaam, and God said to Balaam and said, who are these men with you? And Balaam said to God, Balak the son of Zippor, the king of Moab, has sent to me, saying, behold, a people has come out of Egypt, and it covers the face of the earth. Now come, curse them for me. Perhaps I shall be able to fight against them and drive them out. God said to Balaam, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the prince of Balak, go to your own land, for the Lord has refused to let me go with you. So princes of Moab rose and went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. So Balaam, first he was hearing from God. When the King Balak of Moab sent these messengers with money for to prophesy to this man called Balaam, first of all he is telling that I can't do this, because the night let them spend there, and he prayed to God and asked for God's guidance. And the Spirit of God spoke to him and revealed to him that people whom you are called to curse, they are a blessed people from the God, and you cannot curse them and tell these people to leave you. And Balaam, who is a prophet, tells that I cannot curse these people, so you just leave from here, because I cannot go, because God is not telling me to go. So Balaam, although he is not an Israeli, he has some visions and encounters from God, and he is a prophet of God, but he is apart from the Israeli community. And that's also is a sign that you can be polluted. If you have some gifts from God, gifts with an open eye to see in the spiritual realm, gift to see the future of people, but if you are not connected with the church, or if you are not in the right congregation, or in the among around right people, the same gift that is in you can turn into divination, can turn into some demonic divination. So there is a slight difference between what I've told, divination and prophecy. So God tells him that you should not go, and he says, I cannot come with you. Now the messengers of Balak, the king of Moab, has returned. Once again, Balak sends princes, more in number, more honorable than these. And they came to Balaam and said to him, thus says Balak, the son of Zippor, let nothing hinder you from coming to me, for I will surely do you great honor. And whatever you say to me, I'll do. Come, curse this people for me. But Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, though Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the command of the Lord my God to do less or more. So you too, please stay here tonight, that I may know what more the Lord will say to me. And God came to Balaam at night and said to him, if the men have come to call you, arise, go with them, but only do what I tell you. So Balaam rose in the morning and sandaled his donkey and went with the prince of Moab. Let me tell you, there is a perfect will of God and there is a permissible will of God. For the first time, when the Moabite king Balak sent forth his messengers to Balaam to come and curse the people of Israel, at that night when God appeared to Balaam and asked him, who is at your house? And he said, these are the messengers from Balak, the king of Moab. And God said to him, you shall not go with them, and you shall not curse the people of Israel, because they are blessed from me. And he sent forth these messengers. And these messengers again came back. Balak needed to curse the people of Israel because he could not defeat them in battle. So he wanted something to be done. So Balak again sent honorable men to the prophet Balaam. and with lot of gifts they came. And now Balak's messengers are telling, please come, because the king is asking for you. Now Balaam's mind has changed. When Balaam saw those gifts and these honorable men, there is a ease to have money, have the gifts that Balak has sent. So what did Balaam said? Balaam said, you stay here tonight, I'll inquire of the Lord. So he is forcing God and telling him, Lord, I want to go there. Maybe he might be telling, I won't curse them, let me go there, because he is interested in the gifts and the money that Balak gave. And that night he again forced on God, and God allowed him. Sometimes God says no once, and if you are stressing on him, he will allow, but it won't be good for you and for your future. So, but God's anger was kindled against because he went, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as his adversary. Now he was riding on the donkey, and his two servants were with him. And the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. And the donkey turned aside out of the road, went into the field, and Balaam struck the donkey to turn into the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in the narrow path between the vineyards, with a wall in either side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she pushed against the wall and pressed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck her again. Then the angel of the Lord went ahead and stood in a narrow place, there where there was no way to turn either to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he struck the donkey with his staff. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, what have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? And Balaam said to donkey, because you have made a fool of me, I wish I had a sword in my hand, for then I would kill you. And the donkey said to Balaam, am I not your donkey, on which you have ridden all your life to this day? Is it my habit to treat you this way? And he said, no. So now what is happening? God has told earlier to Balaam that you shall not go, you shall not prophesy against the people of Israel. Now Balaam is forcing God, and he is going with the people of Balak, the king. And when he went back, the anger of the Lord came against Balaam. See, once God tells you it is wrong and you should not do it, and if you are forcing on God, God, please me, it's my compassion, it's my desire. What will people think if I do it? Then God will allow you to do it, but it will cause great dangers in your life. So the anger of the Lord was kindled against Balaam, and the angel of the Lord stood with a sword. This is the angel of the Lord standing against Balaam, because God has appointed angels to protect the people of Israel. And whenever somebody is arising against the people of Israel, the angels encounter them to defeat them. So when Balaam goes with 2 of his servants and on the donkey sees the angel. But the prophet, whose eyes are open to the spiritual realm, because he is in the greed to receive money from the king, his spiritual eyes are shut, and the donkey sees the angel, and it shifts its way. And then it goes and presses Balaam towards the wall, and Balaam starts hitting the donkey, and the donkey's mouth is open. God opens the mouth of the donkey, and for the first time in history, an animal starts speaking to a human in human words. And this animal said, why are you hitting me? Have I not been good to you? And this Balaam says, understand. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and he's a drawn sword in his hand. So, and the donkey is saying, see, the angel is standing in front of me, and I cannot go further because the angel is standing there with a sword, and he will kill me. So, what happens? God opens the eyes of eyes of King Balaam, the prophet Balaam, and now Balaam has started seeing that the angel of the Lord is there, and that's why the donkey has shifted its place in the root. And now God is making Balaam understand clearly that it is against the will of God to go to Balak, the king of Moab, and curse the people of Israel. So God has warned him once that he should not go. Then he presses on God. He forces God, Lord, I want to do it. Please let me go. He is putting pressure on God. And it's a permissible will. In the permissible will, there can be a lot of threats. So he is facing the angel that is protecting the Israel, is the people of Israel. And then now God is again speaking to him and showing him, it is not my will that you go to curse the people of Israel. And he's drawn by the sword, and he bowed down and fell on his face. And the angel of the Lord said to him, why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out to oppose you, because your way is perverse before me. So the angel of the Lord is telling, I have come to kill you because you have taken a decision to go against the people of God, which is the people of Israel. But the greed is pulling this man who is a prophet, who is a person who hears from God. Now, greed is pushing him to go to a place where God is not telling him to go, even in ministry and even in life. When God is telling a no, it is a no. You can force God to accept your decision. And of course, God will allow you, but there will be a lot of calamities coming on to your life if you are going against the will of God. And now, even the angel is telling him, you are not supposed to go, and I've come against you to kill you. The donkey saw me and turned aside before me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, surely just now I would have killed you and let her live. Then Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I did not know that you stood in the road against me. Now therefore, if it is evil in your sight, I'll turn back. And the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but speak only the word that I tell you. So Balaam went on with the prince of Balak. When Balak heard that Balaam had come, he went out to meet him at the city of Moab, on the border formed by the Arnon, at the extremity of the borders. So what is happening here? Now Balaam, God's angel is speaking to Balaam. You have done a wrong thing by coming out to speak against the people of Israel. When an enemy of the people of Israel has called you to prophesy for him, you have come and have done prophecy, and you have going to do a prophecy for this enemy who is the enemy of the people of Israel. And now I have come to kill you. So Balaam says, Lord, it is sorry, I am sorry, I have sinned. It is evil that what I have done is evil. Please forgive me. And God says, okay, then if you want to go, go and do the prophecy. But do not say anything against my people. Do not say anything what I have not spoken to you. The tongue of a prophet, when he speaks to you, can cause it to happen in your life. There is a prophetic realm. If a person he is gifted by God in the prophetic, there is no need that he has to speak a prophetic word. If he speaks a word on your life as a blessing, it can happen. And Balaam was such a man with authority. If he has spoken something against the people of Israel, it can happen. Because spiritual authorities, when God gives to people, it's beyond gift. When God blesses me with an authority, it is beyond spiritual gift. I don't need to see into the future and say to you what will happen to you. I can say a blessing over you and it will come to pass. There is 3 realms in the prophetic. One is a prophetic cloud. At times people prophesy when the Spirit of God comes upon them. Second is the gift of prophecy. A person, whenever he wants to prophesy, he can tune in to the gift. If he has the gift of prophecy, he can prophesy for you. Then there is an office of a prophet, a person with authority given by God. And if he looks into your life, and tell something as a blessing to you, it will come to pass. These are forced prophecies which can be implemented on the life of people, and this depends upon the spiritual authority a person carries. Every pastor does not have same spiritual authority. Every prophet, maybe he is a good prophet, he can see your future, he can see your past. It is not necessary that he has an authority to change your situation. But there are people whom God has bestowed with authorities, and if they look into your life and say something, God will let it pass. So that's why God is telling to Balaam, you shall not say anything which I have not said. You shall not curse the people. So now Balaam is in a 50-50 with God and with the devil. He is having a half mind to have the money from the king Balak, and now he is half minded with God that, Lord, I will not say anything bad, but I will go to Balaam. What is the perfect will of God? The perfect will for Balaam was he should never go to Balak and never be part of this journey. But now Balaam is forcing God, and God said, okay, if it is your will, go. But the end is Balaam was killed by the Israelites. He became a false prophet, he became a fake prophet, and he lost his identity before men and before God. And when Balaam came, Balak the king came to meet him because he is a person with spiritual authority, and the king knew if he curses the people of Israel, they will be cursed. And Balak said to Balaam, did I not send to you to call you? Why did you not come to me and not able to honor you? I am not able to honor you. Balaam said to Balak, behold, I have come to you. Have I now any power of my own to speak anything? The word that God puts in my mouth, that must I speak. Then Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kiriath Huzoth, and Balak sacrificed oxen and sheep, and sent forth Balaam and for the princes who were with him. And in the morning Balak took Balaam and brought him up to Bamoth Baal. From there he saw the fractions of the people. Now, Balaam, in the country where he is living with princes. He is a very reputed person because kings and people in authority knew Balaam is gifted from God. He has spiritual authority. So now Balak, the king of Moab, is bringing him in, offering sacrifices and calling for him so that he might come and look upon the people of Israel. So there are from three geographical locations, through three mountains, Balak and Balaam. They together are going and looking upon the people of Israel, and Balak is expecting Balaam to look upon the people of Israel and curse them that they might be destroyed, because this people of Israel is a threat to the country of Moab and to the king Balaam. And now Balaam is prophesying to the people of Israel, against the people of Israel. Now he is supposed to prophesy against the people of Israel. He is meditating and he is receiving words from God. And Balaam said to Balak, build for me here 7 altars and prepare for me 7 bulls and 7 rams. Balak did as Balaam had said. And Balak and Balaam offered on each altar a bull and a ram. And Balaam said to Balak, stand beside your burnt offering, and I'll go. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet me. And whatever he shows me, I'll tell you. And he went to Bear Height. And God met Balaam. And Balaam said to him, I have arranged the 7 altars, and I have offered on each altar a bull and a ram. And the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, return to Balak, and thus you shall speak. And he returned to him, and behold, he and all the princes of Moab were standing beside his burnt offering. And Balaam took up his discourse and said, see, even the pagan kings and his officials knew there is a power in a person who has the word of God in his mouth. And they are giving him offering, treating him in a royal way that he might speak a word against the people of Israel. But at times, even godly people, even people of the church, do not understand the authority that God has given in a person. I've seen people even in the church, They are not taking any benefit of the authorities and the gifts and the spiritual powers that God has given to their man of God. They mostly rebel against them and receive a curse. But this man, who is not a man of God, man from the community of Israel, he is a pagan king, but he understands spiritual authority. That's why he's calling for Balaam to curse the people of Israel. And now Balaam offers sacrifices, which is according to the ordinances that are done by Israeli. He is not an Israeli, but he knows the things of God, the things of spiritual realm, and how God speaks. So he offers 7 altars. In 7 altars, the king of Moab is offering sacrifices at the command of the king, at the command of prophet Balaam. And after these sacrifices, he goes to an high place and asks for God's guidance. So Balaam knew how to invoke God and how to hear from God. So there is the technicalities behind the prophetic, and the technicalities behind calling God's presence into existence. Balaam knew it, and he called God, and God gave him the prophetic word in his mouth. And now Balaam came down to Balak and the princes of Moab, and now he's prophesying. From Aram, Balak has brought me, the king of Moab from eastern mountains. Come, curse Jacob for me, and come, denounce Israel. How can I curse whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced? For from the top of the crags I see him, from the hills I behold him. Behold, a people dwelling along and not counting itself among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob? Oh, the number, fourth part, fourth part of Israel. Let me die the death of the upright, and let my end be like this. So Balaam, he is not cursing, he is blessing instead. It's not his will, but the Spirit spoke through him, and he is saying, Jacob is blessed. Balak has brought me here to curse the people, but I cannot curse a people whom God has blessed. No curse can prevail against these people because they are heavily defended and protected by God. Let me tell you, no curse can prevail over you if God has blessed you. The word of God says, no curse and no utterances of men, no witchcraft activity and no sorcery can prevail against you if you are divinely protected by God and defended by God. The man who opened his mouth to curse the people of Israel could not curse. The blessing came out of his mouth, and he said, the people of Israel are innumerable in numbers and they cannot be cursed. And he said, I also want to live and die like one of them. And Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I took you to curse my enemies, and behold, you have done nothing but bless them. And he answered and said, must I not take care to speak what the Lord puts in my mouth? So the king is now telling Mary Ajino, may God bless you. Yes, I am from India and I am teaching the word. Okay, yeah. Okay, you're from? Where are you from? So now Balak is forcing on Balaam, why haven't you cursed the people of Israel? I have called you here to curse these people, and you are blessing these people. And Balaam says, I cannot speak anything that the Lord has not told me. And Balak said to him, please come with me to another place. So now Balak, the king of Moab, is taking Balaam to another location. And Balak said to him, please come to me to another place from which you may see them. You shall see only a fraction of them and shall not see them all. Then curse them for me from here. And he took him to the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Balaam said to Balak, stand here beside your burnt offering, while I meet the Lord over there. And the Lord met Balaam and put a word in his mouth. Return to Balak, and thus shall you speak. And he came to him, and behold, he was standing beside his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said to him, what has the Lord spoken? And Balaam took up his discourse, and he said. So now again, Balak, the king of Moab, is taking Balaam the prophet to another location, to the mountain of Pisgah. Pisgah is a mountain where we see, where from there they can watch these lights. So there is a great view of the people of Israel from the Mount Pisgah, and now Balaam is asked by Balak to curse the people. So again, Balaam is invoking the prophetic. He's building 7 altars, offering a bull and a ram. It is an offering. These kinds of offerings we see God is instructing to the Israelites. But this prophet who is a pagan man, he knows the ordinances of invoking spiritual powers. So he was offering, he's building 7 altars. He commanded Balak to build 7 altars, offer a ram and a bull, and he's going to a height to hear from God. And for the second time also, since he has invoked the prophetic, God is speaking to him. And he got the word from God. He came down to Balak, and all the princes of the people of Moab are waiting to hear a word from Balaam, a word of curse. But God is shifting the curse into a blessing in the mouth of Balaam. Rise, Balak, and hear, give ear to me, O son of Zippor. God is not man that he should lie, or son of man that he should change his mind. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? Behold, I receive a command to bless, and he has blessed, and I cannot revoke it. Has he not beheld misfortune in Jacob? Nor has he seen trouble in Israel. The Lord their God is with them, and the shout of the king is among them. God brings them out of Egypt, and is for them like the horns of the wild ox. And there is no enchantment against Jacob, no divination against Israel. Now it shall be said of Jacob and Israel, what has God wrought? And behold, a people, as lioness it rises up, and as lion it lifts itself. It does not lie down until he has devoured the prey and drunk the blood of the slain. So now, amazing prophetic words are declared for the people of Israel out of the mouth of Balaam. Now, Balaam is saying, God is not a man. What do you think of God? That you offer 7 sacrifices and he'll change his mind to curse the people? No. God cannot be changed. You have to have a greater revelation of God. He's telling that God does not change his commandments, does not change his mind. And he's blessing the people and telling that the people of Israel are like kings, and they have come out of the power of Egypt, and they have broken the slavery of Egypt. They are so strong as wild oxen. They are like lions. They will not rest until they have defeated all of you. So Balak is clearly telling him that the people of Israel are a great and mighty nation. They cannot be destroyed. The blessing of God is upon them, and they will defeat their enemies and take over their territories. Whatever you do, it cannot stop them, because their God, who is mighty warrior, and is a mighty warrior, he is with them, and it is impossible to take over these people. You cannot take over them with the sword and with your army, and you cannot defeat them even in the spiritual realm, because God's word is here that no enchantment and no divination can work against these people, because they are heavily defended by God. And hearing this, Balak understood. It's now Balak is now again in trouble, because all the country of Moab is in trouble, because they are seeing the people of Israel encamped against them, and they are expecting a war, and a war threat is from the people of Israel. Now God is blessing through the mouth of Balaam. See, Balaam was amazingly used in the hands of God, but he was polluted. He has polluted himself in the greed of money, because he wanted to go, and he said, Lord, I will not curse the people, but I want this gift from Balak. I wanted to please him. So be very strict with your gifts and the abilities and the grace that God gives you. Do not mix spiritual with non-spiritual, with that do not mix sacred with that is secular. it will pollute your life, it will pollute you. And Balak said to Balaam, do not curse them at all, and do not bless them at all. But Balaam answered Balak, did I not tell you all that the Lord says that I must do? And Balak said to Balak, come now, I will take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God that you may curse them for me from there. So Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor, which overlooks the desert. And Balaam said to Balak, build for me here 7 altars and prepare for me here 7 bulls and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. So now they are going to the third location. From there, Balak is pressurizing Balaam to curse the people of Israel. So we have completed 3 chapters today, and we have known how the people of Israel traveled from Negev and defeated the king of Negev, and how they rebelled, and God sent fiery serpents in the wilderness to bite the people of Israel. And when the people of Israel were dying, God told Moses to make a bronze serpent and set it on a pole, and whoever looks at the bronze serpent were delivered from the death that could be caused by the poison of fiery serpent. And even the New Testament, I have connected it with the New Testament, where Jesus in the Gospel of John chapter 3 verse 12, Jesus says, as Moses raised the bronze serpent in the wilderness, so the son of man be raised. And in John chapter 12 verse 32, we have read that if I be lifted up, I'll draw many to myself. So the people of Israel were bitten by serpent, poisoned by serpent, and when they looked upon the bronze serpent on the pole, they were delivered. Jesus is saying the sin, which is the poison that has bitten the humanity, if they look upon Jesus, who became sin for them, the judgment and the judgment for the sin of humanity is upon Jesus, and whoever looks unto him can be saved from eternal death. So Jesus is comparing himself to this Old Testament representation of the bronze serpent and saying, I am the anti-venom. I am the anti-venom for the venom which is sin. So I am the one who delivers people out of sin. So the medical symbol of 2 snakes on a pole was the first reference in history that we get about that is Moses raising the bronze serpent, and it was working as an anti-venom against the poison that came into the bodies of people of Israel because of their sin, and God delivered them, and it represents Jesus. And later we know the people of Israel journey throughout the land of Moab and Amorite, and they defeated the king of Amorites, or Sihon. They defeated the king of Bashan, Og, and they took over the territory. So during the time of Moses itself, before they enter into the main parts of the promised land, the land of Canaan, they defeated these 2 nations and took over the border territory of Canaan. So now they are taking over the lands. They have defeated 2 kings and took over the land. Now they are encamped against Moab, and that is when in the Moabite king Balak, because he was afraid of the people of Israel, calls for Balaam, a prophet who is not an Israeli, but he is a prophet from God. He hears from God, and he is with spiritual authority. And Balak recognizes the spiritual authority of Balaam, calls for him. God says to Balaam, you should not go, but he goes. And now for the 2 times that he came to curse, God is giving the words of blessing in the mouth of Balaam. And to chapter 24, in chapter 24, we see again Balaam going to trying to curse the people of Israel. Let's complete chapter 24 also. When Balaam saw it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he did not go. So as to other times, he took for omens, but set his face towards the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes and saw Israel camping tribe by tribe, and the Spirit of God came upon him, and he took up his discourse and said. So now Balaam understood, whatever sacrifices I place before the Lord will give me the word to bless the people of Israel. Now, what is he doing? उसने शकुन देखने को ना गया. So he did not go to God to see from God. Now automatically the spirit of the Lord came upon Balaam the third time. The oracle of Balaam, the son of Beor, the oracle of man whose eyes is open. So sometimes prophecy is not willful, it is forced by the Spirit of God. Even in the New Testament, the Epistle of Peter says all prophecies that came through the men of God are being forced upon the people. It's not by human will, it is divine revelation forced upon the people. So God is now placing a divine revelation on Balaam to speak for the people of Israel. Oracle of a man whose eyes is opened. The oracle of him who hears the words of God, who sees the vision of the Almighty falling down with his eyes uncovered. So, this is a person who can see open visions with his eyes opened. Now, he is declaring the word of the Lord for the people of Israel. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your encampments, O Israel, like palm groves that stretch afar, like gardens beside a river, like aloes that the Lord has planted, like cedars, trees beside the waters. Water shall flow from his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters. His king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brings him out of Egypt, and is for him like the horns of a wild ox. He shall eat up the nations, his adversaries, and shall break their bonds in pieces and pierce them through with his arrows. He crouches, he lay down like a lion, and like a lioness he shall rouse him up. Blessed are those who bless you, cursed are those who curse you. So now Balak is proclaiming the words of blessing upon the people of Israel, and the words that he says here is the words of blessing that God told Abraham. God, when called Abraham, he told Abraham, whoever curses you, I will curse them, and whoever blesses you, I will bless them. And now, Balaam is prophetically declaring over the people of Israel that people of Israel are a nation that can never be defeated. They'll be blessed by God. Their offspring shall be blessed. The presence of God is with them. They are like the garden of God. And seeing them, Balaam the prophet recognizes the divine blessings and the prosperity and the hand of God upon these people, and he says this prophecy. And Balak's anger was kindled because Balak has called Balaam to curse the people against Balaam. And he struck his hands together. And Balak said to Balaam, I called you to curse my enemies, and behold, you have blessed them these 3 times, and therefore now flee to your own place. I said, I'll certainly honor you, but the Lord has held you back from honor. And Balaam said to Balak, did I not tell your messengers whom you sent to me? If Balak should give me his house full of silver and gold, I would not be able to go beyond the word of the Lord, to do either good or bad of my own will. What the Lord speaks, that I'll speak. And now behold, I am going to my people. Come, I will let you know what these people will do to your people in the later days. Now Balak is telling Balaam, he is angry with Balaam and he is shouting on Balaam and saying, I've called you here and I've promised you that I'll give you a lot of gifts, gold, silver, and all kinds of things, whatever you want. But since you have not prophesied against the people, God Himself is stopping me from giving any gifts to these people. Now, Balaam is now light-hearted and he is telling, I told you that I won't do any prophecy which is against the will of God. I can't prophesy anything which is against God's will. But I tell you something that is going to happen to these people. So he is telling. He took up his discourse and said, the oracle of Balaam the son of Beor, the oracle of the man whose eyes is opened, the oracle of him who hears the words of God and knows the knowledge of Most High, who sees the vision of Almighty falling down with his eyes uncovered. I see him, but not now, and I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, a scepter shall rise out of Israel. It shall crush the forehead of Moab and break down all the sons of Sheth. Edom shall be disposed. Seir also, his enemies shall be disposed. Israel is doing valiantly, and one from Jacob shall exercise dominion and destroy the survivors of the city. Then he took on Amalek and took up his discourse and said, Amalek was the first among the nations, and but its end is utter and destruction. And he looked on the Kenite and took up his discourse and said, enduring is your dwelling place, and your nest is set on the rock. Nevertheless, Cain shall be burned. When Ashur takes you away captive, he took up his discourse and said, alas, who shall live when God sees this? But ships shall come to from Kittim, and shall afflict Ashur and Eber, and he too shall come to utter destruction. Then Balaam arose and went back to his people, and Balak also went his way. So now, the last prophetic word of Balaam is against nations. He is telling a messianic prophecy. He is telling a scepter shall come out of the people of Jacob, and there will come a king out of Israel, and he is going to destroy Moab and all nations. He says a star is going to come out of the people of Israel, and it is a messianic reference. He's looking far to the future, and he's seeing that Israel, and there is a king coming on Israel. He's going to rule over these countries. And it was a prophetic word towards the dominion of King David, and it was also a representation far to the future about the coming of the King of King, Messiah, who is going to rule over all the nations of the world. And he is speaking about the destruction of the Canaanites, the Amalek, and the wars that is happening between Ashur, which is Nineveh's, which whose capital is Nineveh, who is Ashur, who later fights the northern countries and taking over the land. So future wars that is going to happen on the land, all these are prophesied by Balaam. And then Balaam goes back to his house, and Balak goes back to his house, and now Balaam leaves. But it is believed that Balaam told Balak something that can be used against the people of Israel if he wanted to destroy the people of Israel. And in the book of Revelation, it is told that Balaam instructed Balak to make the Israel people of Israel fall into sin, and that's the only way they can overpower the people of Israel, or they can defeat the people of Israel. And in the book of Revelation, it is told Balaam told Balak to send their women to the Israeli camp so that they might do sexual immorality with the people of Moab, and God would curse them, and that was the only way to destroy the people of Israel. See, the people of God are heavily protected. The only way Satan can come in is sin, and may God protect you from such situation, because no sorcery, no divination can work against the people of God. Let me pray and conclude this session. We have gone a little far. We have covered 4 chapters this day, and I believe by this week we would be able to complete the book of Numbers. Let me pray and conclude this portion. Thank you for tuning in and being with me in this Bible study. God will bless you. Lord, our loving Heavenly Father, we pray for everybody who is watching this live stream. Thank you for helping us to learn from your word. Your people is a people of might, and they are great warriors. Nothing can come against them. That's what your word says, Lord. Lord, you have given us authority over all the powers of the enemy, but never let us despise the grace that you have given us, Lord. Let us be fruitful in your kingdom. Never let us be like Balaam, who understood the will of God but forced God into the situation to go for greed, go for the greed of money, and speak and tried to speak against the people of God. Later we see Balaam was killed by the Israelites. Lord, never let our end be bad. Let us be very faithful to the gifts and the spiritual things that you have given us. and let us be clean before you, so that we might be like the people of Israel, a people whom nobody can defeat. Let us be warriors, Lord, in your kingdom, and let us take over the enemy territory. Whatever Satan has kept back from us, he has looted from us. Let us take it back spiritually, and let us be witnesses for your kingdom. Bless every each one of them, meet all their needs, heal them, give them elevations in life. Bless them in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. May God be with you. May God bless you. In the evening, we have Hindi live stream. Every day at 11 o'clock, we'll start our English live stream. If you want to learn the scriptures, if you want to read all of the book of Bible, we are doing it this year from Genesis to Revelation. We are completed till Numbers, and we are hoping to complete till Revelation this year. And this is a long journey. Be tuned in. May God bless you. God be with you. Thank you.